The following may contain language and subject matter which is only appropriate for some audiences. But since we're not very discriminatory here, everybody's welcome to listen. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Low Fact Podcast. Dave, Matt, and Andy. And where's our timer? So today, I thought I'd just kind of throw something out here and see if you guys even know what the hell I'm talking about. And that is the pounding of the pound the table theory of lawmaking, which I think we are squarely ensconced in. But maybe that's always been the deal. You guys have no clue what I'm talking about, do you?
Oh, I've heard you talk about this. That when you don't have the facts, you just pound the table.
Right. Well, that's the old law school adage. When you have the facts on your side, you pound the facts. When you have the law on your side, you pound the law. When you don't have the facts or the law on your side, you pound the table. And essentially, that's just meaning, you go for the emotional argument. And I kind of see that happening with the law a lot, or with laws a lot. One of the more recent ones is one that I've actually been the beneficiary of. But I'm not going to go into why I have been. That's the statement. I think that a lot of lawmaking now is really just kind of based on the populace's or the lawmakers' emotional responses to things. I see it. You both want to say something, but now I'm in your head, and you guys don't want to sound stupid today. You're just like, oh, what do I say?
Are we talking about lawmaking, or are we just talking about people that pound the table?
The statement was pounding the table theory of lawmaking. And yes, that's my own little theory.
I don't understand how that can be something that's... I mean, I can see that in the context of in a courtroom, like you're talking about, but how does that play out to lawmakers?
Lawmakers are people.
So there's a bunch of people that are complaining about an issue and are emotional about an issue, and the lawmakers are like, oh, let's go and make a law about this thing?
Kind of seems like that's what happens, doesn't it?
It's fucked up.
Didn't say that it wasn't, but...
So
an emotional response, and you make a law because of it, is what you're saying, essentially. You make a law because of an emotional response you have to an issue.
To me, that's kind of an arbitrary law, but essentially.
Like, like the paper straw thing? They felt emotional response to that turtle dying, so they made that law to ban plastic straws?
I have no idea what the theory behind banning plastic straws is.
That was the outrage. It was because of that turtle. And they had an emotional response.
You assume?
I assume. I'm making this assumption.
Okay.
So I assume that they had an emotional response, and that's why they banned plastic straws.
yeah, no one said, oh, how many turtles have been killed by
Yeah, they
plastic
just
straws?
said they saw it.
I'm not laughing because of your statement. I'm laughing because of the timing of your statement.
I couldn't watch Scott. They're like, yeah.
Because so this is my assumption. My assumption is that this whole idea about, if we want to use your plastic straw example,
Yeah.
plastic straws do not even the amount of waste generated by plastic straws is just not even is infinitesimal. But the whole idea to banning plastic straws is an incrementalist idea. First, we want to get rid of plastic straws. Then we want to get people not to throw away bigger plastic junk. Then so it's a whole incrementalist attitude towards things, and I'm sitting there going, well, I don't know if that's smart or not, but and this is a total non sequitur on my part because it's like, okay, so those lawmakers are thinking they're going to be in power forever.
Yeah, because that straw ban will always be there as long as they're there?
No. They're going to be in power long enough to get their end game going.
Oh,
So
whole
if
plan they want.
so if their plan is to get rid of plastics, period, or plastic waste, and if they start by, okay, single-use plastic bags, people can get behind that. Then after that, it's like, okay, well, let's get rid of plastic straws because people can get behind that. Then, okay, let's get rid of this type of plastic thing. I mean, that if that's the idea in these lawmakers or these sets of lawmakers' minds, I'm sitting there going, what happens if someone says, you know what, fuck you and your stupid things, I don't want you in office anymore after the first thing.
They wrote it out. And
Right.
their plan fails because they're gone.
Well, maybe not. And again, now we're totally going off the topic again, which is not necessarily good or bad.
But I guess going back to the main point, the emotional response was because of that turtle, and that law became there because of that response. And
That was your main point.
that's
Actually, that's not even that's
the-
not even your main point. That
No.
was just kind of what you filled in to what my question was.
yeah. And I forgot your question already.
Well, it wasn't even a question. It was a
Pounding
statement.
of the table.
Right.
Pounding of the table.
The pounding of the table theory of lawmaking. So instead of trying to make laws that are rational or logical, you just kind of make laws that make enough people feel good to what? I don't know. But
That just sounds crazy though.
that it happens.
That it happens because
Well, okay, here's the first question. Here's the actual question. Do you guys think that happens?
Yes.
yeah, I've seen too many examples of it. So yes, it does happen.
Okay, so it happens. Do you think it generates a net positive?
No, I don't.
Then why
I
do
think people are like they're like, oh, whatever, and then when the reality of it starts hitting, then they're like, what the fuck, this makes no sense. By the time by that point, the law is there's already a whole lot of craziness going on, and then there's like a big reaction with the public against. There's like a lot of people that come out against it, saying this is crazy, like after the fact.
Definitely agree with that. Get a little hasty. The law comes in, you're like, oh fuck, it's reality.
Well, especially if it starts affecting you, right?
Yeah.
Because invariably it always does.
because we live in a community.
And then there just starts being all these, like, I don't know if unintended consequences is the right expression for it, but
There's consequences.
yeah, consequences.
There's consequences.
Well, I think we can leave with this statement because the topic was pretty bad anyway. But this whole idea where I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't affect me is, I think, a very stupid thing to say and think because you live in a community.
It's pretty selfish.
Well, no, because it's not even. All right, I'm curious now. Why do you think it's selfish?
Because you're supposed to be at least a little aware of others. You're like you said, you live in a community. If it doesn't affect you, it doesn't matter what I do, right? That's a statement that you have a problem with.
Right, I don't care what somebody else is doing as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
It's a little selfish.
How's that selfish?
So you don't care for others regardless of what you're doing. What if you like to do is throw shit in your living room and everyone's okay with it? Are we all just supposed to be okay with that?
I think Dave just had a brain aneurysm.
I noticed there was video on his eyes. His eyes were going back and forth. I couldn't tell if he was about to get a stroke right now.
I think he broke him.
I don't understand how you get there. Like, if someone says,
That's
I
not
don't
what he
care,
was saying.
I don't care what somebody else does as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
So the point you were making is that, like, everything affects everybody.
Because we live in a community.
Right.
Right.
There's no such thing as me doing something that won't affect you guys.
Right. Why didn't you just say that?
That makes way more sense because we're on the same side. I thought you were arguing the opposite point. I was like, oh, you're right. I agree with what you just said right now.
Well, why don't you stop trying to figure out where I'm going and just kind of say what's on your mind?
What if he doesn't have anything
Yeah,
else?
anything in my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So yeah, that my bad. That was my stupid thing to say. Because yeah. All right. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa. Well, okay. Yeah. So, all right then. Thank you everybody for listening.
Adios, amigos.
Peace.
All right, thanks for tuning in to Low Fat Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Just search Low Fact. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Low Fat Podcast. If you want to chat to us, send us some comments, or have us talk about some things, just send an email to lowfatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on our Twitter and Instagram pages at Low Fat Podcast, and also check out Andy's pages where he mixes our beats, Twitter and Instagram at Fantasy Beat, and you can also find his wicked ass shit on SoundCloud at Artificial Fantasy.